Now, we've been talking about this for a little while. I think it's about time we actually turn that talk into action and look at how we can restrict access to one of our web pages. Now, really, the web page that we're talking about, our status page, or maybe we're sharing just a little bit too much because we have sensitive information on this page and it isn't really something for everyone. We can make sure that we've got our status module enabled. When we take a look at the configuration page for that, so our mods available and our status.conf, inside of that, we can add in a line require IP and then just specify our 127 address range. So it's only going to be available in this case from our local host. Remember, we've only really got two systems that we can test this from. So we're going to be able to test it from our local host and then prove that we can't access it from our remote Ubuntu One system. Having changed the configuration, we'll restart Apache. And then we're going to be able to see that we are able to see it from our local host. But then when we test from Ubuntu One, we shouldn't have access. Now, if that is going to float your boat to give you a little bit of understanding of how we can control access to our server, then let's move through to our command line. We'll be taking a look at restricting access just as we've seen, making sure that our module is enabled, editing the configuration to put the require line in, and then testing our access. Working on our Ubuntu 2 system, we can easily go through and check the enabled modules by using sudo a2 query and the lowercase m. When we take a look at it, we can see the status module just at the top, and it's also been enabled by the site administrator. So it's not the default. We've already enabled and disabled it and enabled it again. So we can see that there has been some change. When we look at the configuration file itself, which we're going to locate underneath etc Apache 2 and mods enabled. Remember, these are the symbolic links, status.conf. We can see it's got a couple of require settings in already. To be honest, this is now the security that we need, where it's only allowing the local host in. Local is a synonym for the 127 address range, the ::1 IP version 6 address range. So it is the way that we need it at the moment. And this is because we've enabled and disabled and then re-enabled it as an administrator. It's automatically set the security, which wasn't there by default. We had tested access from Ubuntu One before, and we could see that we were able to access the server status page from Ubuntu One. So we're actually going to change the require status to be something a little bit less secure. We can go through and put a require IP. And then if we put the complete subnet, so 192.168.56.0/24, so that's going to allow everyone in from our subnet. We can save our change. And of course, having changed the configuration, we're going to restart our Apache server. Now, with this then restarted, we're going to be able to find that we should have access from both of our systems. So it's easy then to move out to Ubuntu One. And on our Ubuntu One system, if we go into our browser, so w3m, www, and then /server-status, and we can see then that we're probably sharing too much information. We can see our server status page. Well, okay, if that's not what we require, we can return back through to our server configuration. And we can then replace our require IP either with require local or just put in our 127.0.0.0/8 as the required network. So it will allow access from the local host, but not from remote hosts. With that configuration then in place, as I go through then and restart Apache 2, I can access it from the local host, so w3m, and then /server status, and access is granted. But now returning through to my Ubuntu One system, here now we shouldn't have access, and we can see that we're getting our 403 or forbidden page. So we've been able to look at how we can grant and deny access via IPs.